Hey, what's up? It's Wick for Xiaomify, and today I've got the big one, the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. As opposed to last year's Mi 10 Ultra, this one is actually launching for the global market. And let's find out which mistake I've made in my photo and video review of the Mi 11 Ultra, as that changes a lot for me. So, is it any good? Well, let's find out. Let's go. So here it is, the Mi 11 Ultra. Just looking at the front, it kind of looks like a Mi 11, but looking at the back, it sure looks like a Mi 11 Ultra. The Ultra is 164 by 74 by 8.3 millimeters in size, weighing in at 234 grams. On the front, it's also got the same 6.81-inch AMOLED display with a 3200 by 1440 pixels or 2K resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate, 480 Hz touch input sample rate, and a peak brightness of 1700 nits. On the front, it's got that in-display fingerprint scanner and a 20 megapixel front-facing camera, which still shoots HD video, but more on that in a minute, because on the back is where it's at. Here you'll find its 50 megapixel main camera with an aperture of f1.9. It's got a 48 megapixel ultra wide angle lens with an aperture of f2.2 and a 48 megapixel telephoto lens with an aperture of f4.1 that's got some very decent optical image stabilization. Next to that, you'll find its light sensor and dual LED flash and that 1.1-inch AMOLED display that can display the time, battery levels, and show you notifications when it's laying down flat. But it will also show currently playing music from both Xiaomi's own music player, but also from apps like Spotify. And it can give you a live preview of your camera, allowing you to use your main camera setup as a selfie camera. On the inside, it comes with a Snapdragon 888 and 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. It's got a 5000 mAh battery that supports both 67 watts wired and 67 watts wireless charging, besides also doing the 10 watts reverse charging thing. It's got NFC, Bluetooth 5.2, and all the features as found on the Mi 11. On the bottom, it's got a dual SIM card slot next to its USB-C port. It's got the same dual speakers by Harman Kardon as on the Mi 11, and it's got that IR blaster to use as a remote controller. Oh, and last but not least, the Mi 11 Ultra actually has a IP68 waterproof rating, making it the first Xiaomi phone to actually have such a rating. So over the last 10 days, I've been going out with this phone almost every day, as the camera is really the highlight of this phone, and it's been such a fun camera to shoot with. So let's look at the camera. And these are all some example photos of the regular wide-angle lens, the ultra wide-angle lens, and the telephoto 5x zoom lens, and all of these can shoot these high-resolution photos. All three cameras give me some very good results, with my personal favorite being the telephoto lens, as the photos with that one come out looking really amazing at 48 megapixels. During the day, all three just shoot very, very good photos, as you can see with all of these, but also indoors, where I've taken some photos of Susanna. You can see how well the color rendering is and how well the skin tones come out. And you can see here the photo with the cat. That one is definitely one of my favorites. It comes out so good. Photos at night come out looking good as well, especially the main 50 megapixel camera shoots some very good night photos. The ultra wide and the telephoto lens are a little bit more contrast heavy, might have a little bit more noise, but nonetheless the photos of all three come out looking really good at night. But the main lens is definitely my favorite at night. Second would be the telephoto, and I've made some more photos with these over the last few days, and I got some really amazing results actually. Also, the videos have been really impressive. During the day, I've shot a ton of really great videos with all three of the lenses, shooting in 8K. And again, especially the telephoto lens is what really impressed me. I've been getting some really amazing results with that lens. At night, I found the stabilization to show quite some artifacts in my video and photo review, but I was just shooting at 8K in that video, and that's where I was wrong. Because after that review, I went out after reading some of your guys' comments, and I filmed at 4K, and that makes a big difference for the stabilization. Especially with the main lens, it makes a huge difference. The ultra-wide is also quite a lot better, telephoto is also quite a lot better, still very hard to stabilize at night. To rectify what I said in the photo and video review of the Ultra, at 4K it gives much better stabilization performance at night. And as it turns out, you can actually change between lenses while filming, just not at 8K. It works fine on 4K as it allows you to zoom in and it will change between lenses while doing that. I did find on some shots that it might change a bit abruptly at times and it will have a different contrast, but at least you don't have to stop recording and switch to another lens, so it is possible. The Ultra has all the video effects like we've seen on the Mi 11 and several other Xiaomi phones, like the clone feature, where you can have up to 4 copies of yourself in a photo or 2 copies in a video. Unfortunately, those videos are still in HD though. It would have been nice to see that in at least 4K. Another cool thing is the 1920 frames per second slow motion. Some people mentioned it would have slow motion on all of the lenses, but on the current beta firmware that is not the case yet, but this super slow motion looks great. But I had some test shots where I found it to have some weird artifacts like this one right here, while others just looked really good. Then there's the selfie camera, so I've asked Susanna to take some selfies with this one as well. She does look better doing that than I do, so there you go. The selfies are really quite similar to what we would have with the Mi 11, and there's really not much of a difference there. And one more thing I want to point out, as that's been asked a few times, yes, it does shoot in RAW if you use the Pro camera setting from where you can enable RAW, which will shoot DNG files, and yes, it can also shoot in a log profile if you select video in the Pro camera. But there's more, as this phone has that little display on the back, allowing you to use the main camera to take selfies so you can see yourself when using the normal camera from the back.
That's so cool though.
From the camera menu, you can turn on to show that live view of the camera on the display, and you can use the volume rockers as a shutter controller, or you can simply raise the palm of your hand in the photo and that will activate the shutter, and it will give you 2 or 3 seconds before it actually takes the photo. And I mean, this is pretty cool.
That's cool.
It's not a huge display, but it's good enough to be able to frame the photo, and it works with the regular lens, the wide angle, and the telephoto lens. But unfortunately, it doesn't work with portrait photos, it doesn't work with 50 megapixel photos, and it doesn't work with videos. So I kind of hope that it would, but I hope and I kind of assume that this might change in a future firmware update. Well, perhaps. In case you want to see more on the camera, I did a full review of just the camera quality on the Ultra, in case you want to go and check that one out. The little display is also pretty cool to show the time, the battery, and the notifications. You can set up the looks and the design of that from the settings menu. They even added kerning and paragraph alignment options for if you want to show text there. So someone at Xiaomi went quite deep into the typography of this thing, which I do kind of appreciate. It's quite convenient just to see all this info when your phone is laying flat. The display does shut down after a max of 30 seconds, but you just simply have to tap on the phone and it will activate a display. Sure, it's a little bit of a gimmick, but I also have to say that I found it to be really quite convenient, and I hope to be able to see more things on that display. Maybe a little animation when a notification comes in, perhaps third-party app support, and who knows what else. Then how does the phone perform? Well, in terms of performance, it's actually very much in line with the Mi 11 and probably the Mi 11 Pro, although I haven't tried that one just yet. The Mi 11 Ultra has the same 120Hz refresh rate display. It's got the rounded corners on that display, and it's just as nice as on the Mi 11, so nothing to complain here, as I really like that display and it looks very, very good. Every app that I've been playing around with on this phone also works fine. They're all fast and snappy, and because I'm using the global version, it comes preloaded with all the Google apps, so the Play Store is there, the YouTube app is there, so I've been watching some YouTube, and it's just been a very good experience. The best test is probably just to play a game like PUBG, which, just like on the Mi 11, had no problems running on its highest setting, the highest frame rate, highest resolution graphics, and high-res audio. If that's anything to go by, it did perform very well, and it was just a pleasing experience, exactly like I had on the Mi 11. It's very immersive, and the audio on it is very good. talking about the audio performance, it is literally the same as on the Mi 11, which is really good audio for a phone. And the Harman Kardon dual speaker setup is just very good and gives you that nice stereo spread when you're looking at some YouTube videos or playing games. Hey, what's up? It's Wick for Xiaomify, and this is what I sound like straight through the Mi 11 Ultra. Let's go. So in terms of performance, it seemed to do pretty much as good, if not slightly better than the Mi 11. And if you want to know more on the Mi 11, you can check out my review of that one as well, right here. So after using it for a little over a week, what do I think of the Mi 11 Ultra thus far? Well, obviously, I'm super impressed with the camera setup. I've been constantly getting super good results with all three of the lenses. Other things I really love on the Ultra are pretty much the things I loved on the Mi 11 as well. The display is really amazing. It's a really, really good display. The sound is really good as well. And battery life has been good for me over the last 10 days as well. One of the things that I do want to point out that if you do get this phone, make sure to get a case as well, as it's super, and I mean super reflective, like a mirror as you can see here, and really, really glossy, which is really a fingerprint magnet. In terms of normal performance, it was very similar to what I've been getting with the Mi 11, which is just a very good flagship performance with a Snapdragon 888. Although I do want to point out that when I was continuously shooting for an hour straight, the phone got quite a lot warmer, but for the majority of the time, I have been using a beta version of the operating system, so I really can't judge what it will be like on the stable release, as that's not out yet. So why would you want to get the Mi 11 Ultra perhaps over the Mi 11? Well, that is purely for the camera performance, which is just really, really good. Sure, the Mi 11 has a great 108 megapixel main camera, but to have that telephoto and an ultra wide angle that all have the same resolution as the main lens is really so much better. I mean, I couldn't stop shooting photos and videos with this thing. Also, the little display, sure, it is a little bit of a gimmick, but besides allowing you to take selfies with the main camera, it is really quite convenient when your phone is laying flat to see your notifications or to skip a playing song, for example. So that's about it for the Mi 11 Ultra, which really has a beast of a camera and very good performance, and it should be coming out in Europe quite soon. I actually don't know the exact price for what it's going to be for, but I'll post it as a top comment below the video when it's coming out. So, what do you guys think of the Mi 11 Ultra? Is this something you'd like to go and pick up, and why or why not? Let me know in the comment section below this video what your thoughts are, and don't forget to leave a little like to show me that you liked it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, well, know that you probably should, because I'm doing a lot of videos about Xiaomi and the Xiaomi ecosystem right here on the Xiaomify channel. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see y'all soon. Peace!